my name is Stevie and welcome back to the channel. Today let's get to know Ocean Grey Watercolor from Schmincke Horadam. Ocean Grey is a limited edition color, and Schmincke developed this color in collaboration with one of their brand ambassadors, Cesc Farré. You know that this is a special release because it came in this beautiful box. As always, the paint tube has the pigment information on display, as well as other paint properties. Ocean Grey uses PB29, PG50, and PBK6 as pigments. It's designed to be a blue-gray-green color with some granulation, as well as extreme light fastness. This watercolor is also semi-staining and semi-opaque. As you can see here, the inconsistent display of colors on the packaging presents the need for swatching. And that's exactly what I'm endeavoring to do today. So please join me as we explore this color. Straight out of the tube, the gray side of this watercolor is nowhere inside yet. If this first look is any indication, then it is safe to claim that the formulation definitely leans toward the cobalt turquoise deep direction. Alright, my tools are ready. As always, I'm using a 300 GSM 100% cotton cold press watercolor paper. Let's get started. I'll be using this flat brush from Winsor & Newton for this part. The mass tone is where my curiosity wants to take me first. Starting with mass value, lets you see the gray side of this watercolor. How about PB29? Where is it in the picture? It is very subtle at this point, and maybe it will show more once we introduce more water. Now let's give this one a chance to dry. For the next part, I'm switching to my Vinci brush. For this, we will try to explore the lightest wash that we could get, or we could make, from Ocean Grey. All of a sudden, it decided to appear dainty or delicate. At this point, I'm noticing a slight hint of blue. The stunning combination of PG50 and PB29 definitely shines through. Let's have a little bit of fun here. I figured it would be amazing or cool to explore how Ocean Grey performs on wet. I'll let you do further testing on your own. As for me, my plan is to pack the color all the way to the bottom so that we could look into dispersion, intensity, and broader hints about mass value. This part of swatching perfectly demonstrates the versatility of Ocean Grey. You know, grays are most of the time underappreciated, but they are incredibly useful for setting the tone or for conveying emotions. So going back to Ocean Grey, this color is suitable as a base for anything and everything, from eucalyptus leaves to rough seascapes to distant hills and mountains. I can imagine this to play nicely with browns, blues, and pinks, although it is exquisite on its own. From here, I wanted to explore further. This time, the goal is to discover opportunities for glazing. This part is time intensive. What I'll do is to first set up or lay down the first layer. Then I will leave this to dry. After that, I will add more layers. While that is drying, let's do some salt test. Let's see how Ocean Grey reacts to salt. I only included this step for those who are using salt to create textures or to add visual excitement whenever they're working on watercolor projects. Personally, I don't use salt, but it's great to know that this is an option. I'll give this a chance to rest. And before we move on to the next test, here's a quick look at our glazed area's first layer. I'll add a second layer in a bit. Now let's move on to another exciting area, which is watercolor lifting. I am planning to do wet on wet and wet on dry. But first, I will fill this area with color. As you can see here, my paintbrush is fully loaded because this way it will open more opportunities for color lifting. Using my Escoda brush size 2, I'll try to take off some color. So far, I don't have to work too hard to lift the color. We'll get back to lifting using wet on dry in a few moments. As I have promised, let's continue with glazing. Right now, I'm adding the second layer, which technically is the first glaze. And as you can see here, I didn't notice that there's an extra amount of paint, but that's okay. That's a tiny amount of paint, and actually it will serve a special purpose. As I pack the layers, these accidental stripes will reveal how semi-opaque ocean gray is. Alright, after 24 hours, our swatches are ready. I didn't bother, or I didn't want to bore you with the time-consuming application of glazes and wet on dry lifting. However, we will talk about them too. Ocean Gray's mass tone reveals a stunning blue-gray-green combination, the kind that reminds you of the deep ocean. In light washes, we get a glimpse of PB29, but it's truly subtle. It's also worth mentioning that granulation is barely there. Through wet on wet, we get to see the full spectrum or potential of ocean gray. The presence of gray is more visible. It works for glazing. However, one will need to be extra mindful of how the paint is applied. Excessive water or paint could ruin the layer underneath. I was able to achieve up to 7 layers, but of course, we don't always have to go that far. My goal here was to simply explore the extent of ocean gray's color intensity. For those who love to use salt for textures, a little bit of application on wet surface allowed for PG50 to be exposed and pushed back the PBK6 or black pigment. As mentioned a few moments ago, there are no issues when it comes to color lifting. In fact, the color lifts nicely either on wet or wet on dry. This color is an absolute stunner. Whether it belongs to your palette or not is up to you. While it is true that it is a convenience mixture, it's definitely inviting everyone to play. In simpler terms, it evokes creativity. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.